Hey everybody, welcome back for another bedtime story with Miss Arnold. Tonight we're going to be reading The Nuts, Bedtime at the Nut House. This is a really funny fiction story about a mom and two little nuts who she is trying to get to go to sleep. So this is our story for tonight. Before we start, I want to shout out, I got to talk to some of my students on the phone today, which was really exciting. So shout out to all of you guys that I got to talk to today, and I have more phone calls planned and coming, so I'm really excited that I got to talk to some of y'all and connect with you guys and keep up the good work and the learning. All right, The Nuts, Bedtime at the Nut House. This is the front cover, back cover, spine. The spine holds the book together, just like your spine and your back holds you together. So let's open it up here to our title page. The Nuts, Bedtime at the Nut House, written by Eric Litwin, that is our author, and illustrated by Scott Magoon. There are a lot of rhyming words in this book, so keep your ears open for words that rhyme. It was time for bed. The day was done. But Hazel and Wally were still up having fun. And they sang together, "We're nuts, we're nuts, we're nuts." So done and fun are two rhyming words. So here they are in their house. Here's Papa Nut, Mama Nut, and then we see Wally Nut going down the slide and Hazelnut too, jumping into this ball pit. So let's see what they do. So Big Mama Nut, in her mama voice, said, "All little nuts need to go up to bed." So Mama Nut said in a really nice little voice that it was time for bed. So said and bed are some rhyming words on that page. Sweet Hazelnut would not go to her room. She wiggled and giggled. She howled at the moon. Wiggled and giggled, some more rhyming words. Hee hee, hoo. Then Hazel and Wally kept singing their tune. "We're nuts, we're nuts, we're nuts." So you can see those little nuts. They are doing some bowling with themselves. So Big Mama Nut, in her big voice, said, "All little nuts need to go up to bed." So the author decided to write big in all capital letters. I think that was to put emphasis that Mama Nut was starting to have to be a little bit louder and use her big voice. And you can see their faces. They look like they froze and they're looking a little unsure. I think they should listen. I wonder what you think they're going to do. Wally Nut danced like a baby baboon. He wiggled and giggled. He howled at the moon. Look at how ridiculous and silly Wally Nut is being. Then Hazel and Wally kept singing their tune. "We're nuts, we're nuts, we're nuts." And the author and illustrator added some really funny things onto the pages, so I will read them to you. Over here, they made this planet, they called it Neptune instead of Neptune. And here it says astronauts instead of astronauts. So Big Mama Nut, in her bigger voice, said, so you can see that all capital letters again for that word bigger, in her bigger voice said, "All little nuts need to go up to bed." And it says, "Houston, we have a praline." So instead of a problem, a praline, which is a kind of nut. Some people say praline. And this even says, her little flag for the United States says United States. So here they are. They're just having too much fun playing. They are not listening to their mother. Did Hazel stop singing? No. Did Wally stop playing? No. They had not heard a word that their mama was saying. Ooh, I wonder what you think is going to happen. They bounced up and down like two happy balloons. They wiggled and giggled. They howled at the moon. Then Hazel and Wally kept singing their tune. We're nuts, we're nuts, we're nuts. And instead of the Titanic, this is called the Titanic. Ooh, how would you be feeling if you had told somebody now 3 times to do something and they still were not listening? If you said a little frustrated and a little angry, I think you were right. Look at Mama Nut's face here. So Big Mama Nut, in her biggest voice, said, all little nuts need to go up to bed. And now this says roasted chestnut because she's a chestnut. And when you roast a chestnut, it gets really hot. And if you're angry, you get really hot and your face might turn a little bit red. So Mama is really heated right now, like a roasted chestnut. Those nuts did not budge. Mama gave them the look. Does your mom have a look? Does your dad have a look? Do your grandparents have a look they give you where you know they mean business? She put her foot down and her long fingers shook. She marched them to bed. She tucked them in tight. Then just before Mama Nut turned off the light, ooh, light and tight, those rhyme, Hazel asked, are we still your sweet little nuts? So they're looking a little worried. So Big Mama Nut said, no matter what, you will always be my sweet little nuts. And that nutty family sang together. We're nuts, we're nuts, we're nuts. So even though Mama Nut was frustrated and those kids made a bad choice when they didn't listen, they made it right. They got into bed. Mama Nut still loves them, even if she got frustrated. And all was calm and nutty and right. So Mama Nut turned off the light. Good night, little nuts. Good night. Night and light rhyme. So Mama Nut, she still loves those little nuts, even if they act a little nutty sometimes. That is the end of our Nuts at Bedtime story. Thank you for tuning in, and I will